I never imagined my quiet life in Willow Creek would thrust me into the heart of a neighborhood scandal, caught on camera for the world to see. My name is Nathan Harper, and for 6 years, I've called this manicured sub-BVY shown home neat lawns, matching mailboxes, and an HOA ruled by the iron fist of Margaret Ellison, the most exasperating woman I've ever met. Margaret wasn't just the HOA president, she was its dictator, armed with a ruler to measure grass blades and a stopwatch to time how long your trash cans lingered curbside. Once, she slapped a citation on my door because my garbage bin sat out for 52 minutes after pickup. She included a photo, timestamped to the second. I did my best to fly under her radar, keeping my yard pristine and my blinds drawn. But when my sister, Emily, and her 3 kids Sophie, 7, Lucas, 9, and Ethan, 11, came to VY sit one sunny weekend, Margaret's eagle eyes locked onto my house like a hawk spotting prey. Trouble started Saturday morning. The kids were laughing in my fenced backyard, chasing each other in a game of hide-and-seek. The doorbell chimed, and there stood Margaret, her auburn bob flawless, her pearl earrings glinting, a clipboard clutched like a badge of honor. "Good morning, Nathan," she said, her smile as cold as her tone. "I'm here about Section 3, Paragraph 9 of the Community Bylaws. No excessive noise, including children's play, before 9 a.m. on weekends." I glanced at my phone, 9:12. "It's past 9, Margaret," I said, keeping my voice even. She tapped her sleek smartwatch. "They started at 8:47. I've been tracking it. First warning. 3 strikes and you're fined." With a curt nod, she spun on her heel and marched off, her heels clicking with military precision. I shut the door, shaking my head. Typical Margaret, but I figured it was just her usual power trip. I was wrong. That afternoon, the kids begged to play in the front yard. It was a perfect 78 degrees, a soft breeze rustling the oaks. I saw no harm in letting them burn off energy with a game of tag on my lawn. I settled on the porch with a coffee, keeping an eye on them while Emily napped inside. The kids darted around, giggling, their sneakers barely grazing the grass. Then I saw her Margaret, power walking toward my house in designer athleisure, her clipboard still in hand, her face set in a scowl. "Nathan!" she barked, stopping short of my property line. "Those children are trespassing on common areas, per Bylaw 14. I looked up, puzzled. "They're on my lawn, Margaret. I'm watching them." She jabbed a manicured finger at Lucas, whose toe had brushed the narrow strip of grass between my lawn and the street city property we all maintained. "That's not yours," she snapped, her voice dripping with triumph. "And their noise is disruptive. I heard them from my study, 4 houses away." I set my coffee down, exasperated. Kids playing on a Saturday isn't disruptive. It's normal. But to avoid a scene, I called out, "Kids, stay on the lawn and keep it down a bit, okay?" They nodded, their laughter softening, and resumed their game. Margaret lingered, her eyes narrowed, pen scratching furiously on her clipboard. "Second warning," she announced, her voice laced with smug authority. "One more, and it's a due law 150 fine." As she strode off, Sophie whispered, "That lady's so mean." I hushed her, but Margaret's shoulders stiffened. Heard. I thought that was the end of it. The kids played carefully, sticking to my lawn, and Emily joined me on the porch. We chatted, the afternoon warm and peaceful, the kids' laughter a soft backdrop. Then chaos erupted. The tag game had heated up. Ethan, was chasing Sophie, who was quick as a deer. She dodged around the big maple in my yard, her foot grazing the corner of Margaret's lawn for a split second. Before I could blink, Margaret's front door flew open. She stormed out, no longer in athleisure but in what looked like combat-ready khakis and a starched blouse, her face a mask of fury. "Freeze!" she bellowed, her voice echoing down the street. Neighbors' curtains twitched. "You're trespassing on private property. This is your final warning." The kids stopped dead, wide-eyed. Emily and I shot up from the porch, alarmed by the manic glint in Margaret's eyes. I stepped toward her, hands raised. Margaret, it was an accident. Sophie barely touched your lawn. They're just kids. Her head snapped toward me. An accident? She shrieked. This is why society's crumbling, no respect for boundaries. She waved her clipboard like a weapon. 3 violations today. 3! Emily gathered the kids, who clung to her, scared. We're sorry, Emily said, her voice calm but firm. It won't happen again. Margaret wasn't listening. Her hand plunged into a pocket, and my stomach dropped. She pulled out a canister of pepper spray, brandishing it like a sheriff in a bad western. I'm making a citizen's arrest for trespassing and disturbing the peace, she declared. My heart pounded. Margaret, put that away, I said, stepping between her and my family. You're scaring them. Her eyes blazed. I know my rights. As HOA president, I enforce the rules. I held my ground. You can't arrest anyone, and you definitely can't pepper spray kids. Stop this. I gestured for Emily to get the kids inside. Margaret's face twisted. Don't you dare walk away. She lunged, trying to dodge me, her pepper spray aimed at my retreating family. What happened next was a blur, caught perfectly by my doorbell camera and the security system I'd installed after Margaret once confiscated a package from my porch for being unsightly. I blocked her path again, and she fired the spray. Most of it missed, but the wind carried some back into her face. She howled, more enraged than pain, and in her flailing, she sprayed again directly at Lucas, who turned to check on us. His scream pierced the air, raw and terrified. Emily rushed to him as I grabbed Margaret's wrist, forcing the canister down. Let go! She screeched, mascara streaking as her eyes watered. This is assault! No, I growled. You just assaulted a 9-year-old. Neighbors spilled onto their lawns, phones out, filming. Sirens wailed in the distance. Someone had called 911. Lucas was sobbing, his eyes red and swollen. When the police arrived, the evidence was undeniable: security footage, witness videos, and a child with chemical burns. They cuffed Margaret as she ranted. I was protecting property values. I'm the HOA president. The officer cut her off. Ma'am, you pepper sprayed a kid for playing tag. Your title means nothing. They hauled her away, her protests echoing. That night, after Lucas was treated at the ear thankfully with no lasting damage, you gave our statements. The footage was handed over, and Margaret faced charges: assault with a chemical agent, battery on a minor, reckless endangerment. By Monday, Willow Creek was buzzing. At an emergency HOA meeting, I played the video. Gasps filled the room as Margaret sprayed Lucas. The board ousted her as president on the spot. But her troubles were far from over. At her arraignment, her lawyer's face was grim. The judge, peering over his glasses, was unsparing. Ms. Ellison, assaulting a child with pepper spray shows a shocking lack of judgment. Bail was set at $60,000. Margaret's composure cracked, her face cycling through shock and fury. 2 months later, she pleaded guilty to lesser charges to avoid a trial. The sentence: 20 months in prison, 4 years probation, and $18,000 in restitution for Lucas's medical bills and counseling. As the bailiff led her away, she turned to me, her eyes hollow. It was just pepper spray, she whispered, as if pleading for absolution. I was enforcing the rules. The courtroom door slammed shut, and Margaret Ellison, former HOA tyrant, now inmate 319472, was gone.